Greg, thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you're well.
Thank you.
Everyone always says it's a cliche that when with a derby game, the records don't matter, throw out the records. But they kind of do matter, and with those guys are scuffling real bad. You guys have lost 2 in a row. Chicharito's out, Vela's out. What do we make of this game?
I think it's still kind of a mid-season clash with two teams that are certainly trying to regain some momentum. For us, regain some momentum. It was the first time we've lost 2 games in a row, so we certainly want to try to rebuild some momentum out of that. The fact that it's a derby just adds to the intensity of it all and to the the rivalry nature of it, and probably adds to the emotion of it a little bit and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, both of us are trying to regain some momentum in this, as we're moving into the second part of this season. For us, it's to tighten up some things again that we've been talking about and working on now that we've had a few days of training, and improving upon our performances. And so there's a lot in that, but nobody's winning the championship today or doing any or this weekend or anything like that. But it is an important game for each of us, I think, to regain our footing and some momentum trying to move forward.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll go with Damien Calhoun with the LA Daily News. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. How you doing?
Hey, Damien. Great, thanks.
I know it's early in your training week, right? But what have you seen out of the group, like response-wise, coming off the loss, whatever day? I forgot what day that you guys lost the other game. But what's the attitude been like of the group so far?
Yeah, the attitude's been great. The response has been great. I mean, the guys had a recovery day and then 2 days off to just regroup mentally and physically, and then we came in and got them turned around, and then we had a long video discussion session looking at some of the things that we really, really have to tighten up, and that was a positive discussion followed by a high intensity training session where the guys were competing and sprinting and focusing on the things we needed to. And then today we got a little bit more into our preparation for the match. Attention to detail has been good. The guys, their legs are under them after a couple of days for sure. And it's going to come down to execution. A lot of it's going to come down to execution, and every play during the course of the game that we execute that play with the detail that play requires, and that concentration. And so that's what we've been talking about. And the first couple of days have been great, and tomorrow we'll do our last prep day and physically and mentally turn ourselves into a team ready to compete on Saturday.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Damien. We'll go with Joe Tutino. Or never mind, Joe, I don't think you have your hand raised. We'll go with Josh Gassman. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, thanks for taking the call.
Hey, Josh.
When you look at how rapidly some of the games have come in recent weeks, I have to imagine that there hasn't been a lot of training going on. Usually it's recovery and then you get prepped for the next game, a lot of walkthroughs.
Yeah.
So how does this week sort of, change that a little bit, actually getting back to training? I know you talked about it a little bit there. And then after this, there's, 14 days between the next game as well. How much does that help you sort of in the middle of the season right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's welcomed, to be fair. It's obviously over the course of the first half of the season and this window, we've been trying to get our group together, and then we had national team duty, guys away, new guys coming in like Dayon and Nico, and so our pieces are together now. What you see is our team now for the rest of the season. And as we were going through that process, we were coming out of it playing 3 games in 6 days, and things were really compact. And so now with a little bit of window time, we have our pieces here. At least we know all the names and all the faces. Obviously, we're going to lose some guys to international duty, but we do have this week to prepare for this match, which is come at a good time for us to address some things that we haven't been doing well. And then once we get out of this game, I think with those next 2 weeks are really to set our path for the second half of the season and the direction we want to go. Again, we'll be missing some players in that process while they're away with national team, but we will have enough of the group and those experienced players coming back and plugging them in is something that we'll be able to do. But the training sessions are much needed and much appreciated in the moment. And then we have to, coming out of this 3 weeks, we've got to really set our pathway for that last stretch of the season, and be consistent and be great at what we're supposed to be doing on the field.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with Scott French next. Scott, go ahead.
Hey, Greg.
Scott.
We've seen LAFC go 7 games without a win over, I guess it's been about 6 weeks since they beat Real Salt Lake, and playing some pretty good soccer while doing so. When you look at them, either just watching the games or when you're doing scouting work, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I agree with you in many aspects. I think, sometimes the game is fine lines, and watching them last week, even against Vancouver, they have chances. They can put the chances away. They can put the game in their favor. They don't make the chances. Then they leave themselves a little bit vulnerable. 1 mistake or 2 mistakes, and you can lose games. The margins can be really fine in the game, and so. And I think they've suffered from that a little bit through the year. They still play a good level of soccer, a good brand of soccer. They still make it very difficult on the opposition. But again, it comes down to executing in both boxes. It comes down to finishing the chances you get on at least on a reasonable percentage, and it comes down to protecting your goal and not giving anything away on the other side. So you can talk about everything between the 18s as being beautiful, but again, the game is decided in the boxes at some point. And I feel like they've done a nice job of controlling games the way they always have, and in between the 18s, but they haven't been able to put away chances, and they've conceded those odd goals that have put them on the wrong side of results. So I feel like that's been a little bit of them. So that's why they're always a dangerous opponent, because you never know what day the ball is going to start to hit the back of the net for them, and then they're a different team when it comes to results.
Thank you, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll go with Andy Diaz of Yahoo Sports. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Well, thank you.
Greg, I think Chicharito over the All-Star festivity broadcast said something about him being close to being back. I just wanted an update on what you're seeing from him and how close that is exactly. Yeah,
he's on the field. He's going through parts of the training session now with the team. He's doing some work, individualized work during certain parts of the session. The expectation here is, look, we have the option of pushing him into this game and just seeing what happens, or we have 2 weeks of more recovery and more work for him on the other side of this game. So I know it's LAFC and I know it's a rivalry and all that kind of stuff, but we win 2 more weeks of his progress on the other side of this game, and so it just doesn't really make sense. If we were going into the playoffs, if we were going into a scenario where we had multiple games, we might push this a little bit more. But because of the time on the other side, as I said, we really have the opportunity to benefit from that time, and he has mostly the opportunity to benefit from that time to really get himself sharp and ready to compete. So our hope and expectation is he'll be ready to go on the other side of the international break.
We'll go with Larry Morgan next. Larry, go ahead.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for speaking with us as always.
Hi, Larry.
After the game, the most recent contest, you were talking about the mentality had to change on his team, especially on defense. Since you were once a fairly accomplished defender in Major League Soccer, what do you look for in the mentality of a defender? What are some of the key characteristics that make up that mentality?
Yeah, so I think for me, when it comes into mentality, there are a few things that are key. And this is why I say in given play, different guys have different roles. So in a given situation, whoever our first defender is, who is addressing the ball and is going and closing the opposition down, can't just get beat. And too many times in our games, our first defender goes, they address the ball and the man get on the other side of that defender, and then your team defending strategy sort of goes to waste. And so we're losing too many of those initial duels, so to speak, and the opposition is getting on the other side of us, and then we're in crisis pretty quickly. So that's one thing. The mentality of our player, whoever that player is that initiates the pressure and is stepping to the ball, can't get beat, has to control the game, has to keep the player's head down, has to make it difficult, but just can't get played around. When that player plays, if we're closing that guy and he plays a pass and their guy moves again, we can't allow our guy to get 1-2'd around or wall passed around, and again, it's the same thing. So there's that. There's players on the weak side. When we're going to close the play off on the opposite side, the players on the weak side need to move with the rest of the team to close off the middle of the field. We have guys who are still hanging out on the opposite side of the field, not moving with the block. It's respecting the details of the team defensive play, but also individually doing better about managing our own individual duels, at managing our first and second balls, being close enough and compact enough to help each other defensively and not getting stretched out. whether it's intentional or unintentional, at times we're resting at bad times where we are leaving ourselves vulnerable, we're stretching ourselves out one way or the other, not staying compact as a group. And sometimes I think it's a product within our group that we love to attack, we love to have the ball, we're hoping that those guys around the ball win the ball so that I can be the guy who gets it in transition and can go attack and create havoc. But we have to respect the fact that we have to see out every defending play by doing all the little things right in that play. And then when we recover the ball, we can get into the transition side of things. So they're just a few of the several details we've talked about as a group that we have to tighten up that are leaving us over the course of 90 minutes too exposed too often. And those are just some defending things. There's also some things about our positions when we have the ball, when balls turn over, our ability to protect ourselves in transitions, things like that. But defending is never one thing. Defending is usually a series of things or a group of things that have to be tightened up, and that was for us what we've been talking about and working on, and our reactions and transitions being better, being quicker, being wiser about our movements in the transitions, things like that. These are details that we have to tighten up as a group. And sometimes when you see it happening in games, and then you talk about it in videos and all that kind of stuff. But when you don't have the training days to put the guys on the field and put them into that training environment and get those things to happen and those reactions to happen quickly, call them out in the training sessions, get them fixed in there, then unfortunately they carried over for a few games and they almost became a habit instead of us being able to clean them up, right? And so that's what we wanted this week and for the next 2 weeks is to clean those things up, clean those habits up, be better there.
Since the team has just passed the halfway point of the season, are you surprised that these things keep happening?
I don't like that they're happening. Am I surprised? Not really. Again, just the nature of us having mixed groups, us still putting the team together, us having sometimes different back lines, us not having training days with different guys coming in and out, things like that, guys being away for national team, then coming back. I feel like it's not something that we love to have, but it just is a bit of a sign of the lack of sort of continuity in the group from game in and game out. The teams, I think I said this the other day, the teams that you typically see at the top of the Supporters' Shield race are teams who typically are putting out the same 11 almost every single week and maybe have a couple of adjustments here or there because of a busy week. It's not teams that are adapting week in and week out because the group is thin or things like that. And so for us, it's a work in progress because we're trying to get this group, the first primary group, together still, and then we're trying to get our other pieces still on the same page. So we still have some gaps that we have to work through. That's why this is still very much a work in progress. We're not where we need to be yet as a group, but we have a goal and an objective, and we know we need to keep progressing towards that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We have one last one with Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Gio.
Thanks for your time. I want to ask a little bit. I know you kind of touched on this on the matchup this weekend against LAFC. They've had a lot of mental struggles down the stretch, and recently Bob Bradley had mentioned that he's kind of tried everything and it essentially hasn't worked. When you see the back line, they've gone from a back four at times to go to that back five, that turns into a three. How do you think you could attack LAFC that way? Because I know at times these last couple of games, you guys have struggled a little bit on the offensive end.
Yeah, the first thing I think we have to be able to do on the offensive end is to defend better. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but sometimes we have to win balls in better areas of the field. We can't recover balls in our defensive third all the time and expect that we're going to be a super dangerous attacking team. It just leaves too much field and too many defenders that we have to break down if we're winning balls so deep all the time. So one is I think we've got to improve a little bit on our defending so that we can, not let a good team like LAFC just pin us in our half of the field, because that's something that they're very good at. If they can build some momentum in their attacks, they're very good at the counter press. They're very aggressive in the counter press, and you can find yourself under waves of attack if you're recovering balls deep all the time. And so the first is we need to be able to defend better. We need to be able to defend higher in the right ways without exposing ourselves. So that sometimes we can win the ball on the front foot and be able to play out of those transitions going forward, not always just recovering them and securing the balls backwards and underneath the pressure. So that's the first thing. The second is, again, I just think for us, the key always is the speed at which the ball is moving. I think when we are disciplined and we're in good spots and the ball is moving quickly, I think we're a very, very difficult team to defend. And we need to always remember that we're trying to play for the space behind the opposition. You know, we have a lot of guys who are very good and want to play the ball at their feet and between lines, but we have to always remember that the objective is to get behind the opposition, put them in crisis, get to the end lines, get the ball back and cross the face of the goal, moments like that. And so, again, these are nuances with this group that, as a relatively new group with sometimes different faces, that we have to keep reiterating and reminding. But it's the same against LAFC. But I do think the important thing against LAFC is that you can't get caught under waves of attack when they get you pinned in deep and it's very difficult to get out. We've got to be better at again recovering balls in better areas and trying to transition forward and not allowing them to get us pinned in terms of their defensive pressure.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
You guys are coming off a couple of losses here. How are you guys sort of refocusing on this week in training and looking ahead to Saturday?
Yes, we are. We have a very big game this Saturday. We know about LAFC. That's true that maybe they are not in the best moment, but these kind of games, they always they are always gonna give the best from them. So yes, we have to be careful. We've been working hard. We know that we cannot lose more points. We know the importance of this game. So yes, we are very focused. We have to fix some problems that we had the last couple games. But I think the team is ready to play.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Damien. We'll go with Josh Gessman. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Jonah, thanks for talking to us.
Hi.
This seems like maybe it hasn't been the easiest year for you, obviously, with the loss of your father, but the injuries and the international absences as well, you haven't been playing on the field probably as much as maybe you'd like. How has that taken a toll on you so far through this season?
No, you're right. It's not my best year in the way that I wanted, but I'm still working hard. We still having 13 games. I'm still having games with my national team, and yes, I have to keep working. My mind is always in the right way. Of course, sometimes you have negative thoughts, but yes, I'm always try to be positive in every way. And yes, I have to be strong. I've been always strong my whole career. But yes, hopefully next game I can show again who is Jonathan. I know that I need to give my 100%. I know that I'm important for the team. I know that if I play well, the team is gonna be a better team. So of course I know that I have to be the leader, no? So yeah, hopefully next game can be my game, especially the game of can be the game of the team, because we need to win, as I said before, and yes, hopefully we can end this year in the best way possible.
And how has the support of the team sort of helped you out? We hear so much that this team plays like brothers, right?
Yes.
I have to imagine that there's been a lot of support for you off the field and on the field for this game.
Yes, I feel very loved since I got here after my national team. As you say, we play like a brothers. It's the first year that I really feel that we are like a family, and we help each other anytime. So yes, I feel really good. And that's why I'm playing right now. I have it that is straight to play these games, and yes, I'm very happy to have this kind of teammates and yes, and this kind of family, of course.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
We'll go with one more in English with Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead.
Hey, Jonah.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Good.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you. I know you're on a contract here, and I know you talked about it in the past that you'd like to end your career with the LA Galaxy.
Yes.
Do you still feel the same way? I know you've gone through a lot of things this year, but would you still want to end your career with the LA Galaxy?
Well, that's been always my thought, but I have to think by myself for myself, So of course I would like to stay, but it not depend on me right now. It depends on the club. If I know how it works the MLS, so I don't know if I'm gonna stay. To be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna stay next year. But I will give my everything for the team the next couple or 3-4 months. But yes, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I cannot predict that.
And let's say for whatever reason it doesn't work out with the LA Galaxy, would you like to stay in the MLS, or would you like to go to Liga MX?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I want to stay close from my family. It could be, yes, MLS, Mexico, but I don't know. I will see in the future. I wanna think right now in my present. I wanna live the moment. I wanna enjoy my moment with my team, with the LA Galaxy, and the future will come.
Cambiamos las preguntas en español. Vamos con Katia Castorena. Katia, adelante.
Gracias, Vicky. Hola, Jonah, gusto saludarte.
Hola, Katia, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, gracias. Te ha tocado vivir grandes momentos en la corta historia de esta rivalidad. ¿Cómo ves ahora diferente esta semana de cómo se preparan? ¿Qué tanto resta a lo mejor por ahí el que vienen de rachas complicadas, que no va a haber jugadores como Chicharito? ¿Vela da esa misma emoción?
Sí, obvio, claro. Un partido contra el LAFC siempre es emocionante, siempre dan ganas de jugar, a pesar de lo que tú dijiste, ¿no? Llevamos unas rachas que no nos favorecen. También el LAFC vienen igual, pero bueno, siempre que viene un partido como estos, sabemos que es como una final, así que tenemos que jugarla al 100%, estar muy pendientes en los pequeños detalles, como bien hablado antes, porque en estos partidos hay jugadores de mucha calidad que te pueden obviamente matar un partido en cualquier momento, y como dices, ¿no? Obviamente las ausencias de Chicharito y Vela van a pesar, porque son dos grandísimos jugadores que son muy importantes para sus equipos, pero bueno, yo creo que hay que seguir y bueno, hay que, como digo, ¿no? El equipo tiene que ganar este próximo partido, que es muy importante.
Y una segunda, ¿cómo viste el tema del juego de estrellas? Tú eres de esos jugadores que han venido a Major League Soccer a ayudar a que siga creciendo el nivel y bueno, que se vio emocionante, ¿no? Que dieron ahí un golpe contra la Liga MX.
Si te soy sincero, no lo vi el partido, no vi nada. Si te soy sincero, no vi nada del partido, pero feliz porque, como tú dices, la MLS dio un golpe en la mesa. Y siempre lo he dicho, desde hace 3-4 años desde que llegué aquí, que la MLS iba a crecer muchísimo, ya cada vez está más pareja a la Liga MX, no puedo decir a lo mejor que están igualados, porque obviamente la Liga MX lleva muchísimos años compitiendo, pero la MLS yo creo que está sacando muchos jugadores de muchísima calidad, jóvenes talentosos, gente con experiencia, y bueno, yo creo que ayer se vio que vamos por buen camino, así que esperemos que siga así la liga y podamos seguir creciendo.
Para una más con David Espinosa. David, adelante.
Gracias. Hola, Jonah, gusto saludarte.
Hola, David.
De Fox Sports. Ya quizás dejando a un lado lo que va a ser este tema con el Galaxy y el enfrentamiento del próximo fin de semana, yo quisiera preguntarte también por lo que está a la vuelta de la esquina, que es el arranque de las eliminatorias mundialistas. ¿Cómo visualizas este inicio? Porque quizás es un sabor de boca diferente a lo que se pensaba de cómo podía llegar la selección mexicana, justamente por estas dos finales perdidas con Estados Unidos, el hecho de esta presión que puede generar, ¿no? Por lo que fueron esos resultados negativos y sobre todo, pues poner quizás un poco en duda lo que sería el trabajo de Gerardo Martino.
No, yo creo que la presión siempre ha estado, ganas o pierdas, yo creo que siempre la presión ha estado en la selección mexicana, y no tenemos ninguna duda, no tenemos ninguna duda del equipo que tenemos, de la familia que tenemos. Yo creo que son de los pocos años que te puedo decir que el grupo está más unido que nunca, no tenemos tampoco ninguna duda del trabajo del profe, estamos con él a muerte y sabemos que nos jugamos como siempre, como todas las eliminatorias, nos jugamos la vida. Son 3 partidos súper importantes, nunca se habían disputado 3 partidos en una misma semana y menos en una eliminatoria, pero bueno, Estamos listos, estamos preparados y vamos con muchas ganas de afrontar estos 3 partidos.
Back losses for the first time. Greg talked a little bit about just getting some training time in and how that was much needed. I wonder, I would imagine that through the first part of this year that being with Greg has been maybe somewhat in the honeymoon period, lots of things changing, lots of things going over, and so maybe the expectation for that you guys get some stuff wrong. But this week, was there a sort of change in attitude from him and maybe also from the team after the back-to-back losses?
Yeah, there was. I think going into the kind of the last third of the season, last period of the season, it's kind of getting to business time now, and we need to improve in certain areas. And yeah, although there's been patience and understanding so far. To be fair, we've had a good season. It's not like we've had a bad season. We've had a good season. But there's been patience and understanding with certain things, and I think it's getting to the point now where we need to iron out those things, and like we've mentioned before, go from a good team to a great team.
It's another big game, obviously, going against LAFC. There was a rivalry game against San Jose. Do you expect that the intensity is going to be ratcheted up even more after the 2 losses, and knowing that you guys really want to get back on track before having 2 weeks off?
Yeah, I think a rivalry game against LAFC is probably it doesn't really matter whether you've won your last 2 games, lost your last 2 games, drawn them. It's kind of anything can happen in these games, and it's a one-off game, and whoever wants it more will generally win. So I'm not too worried about the results leading into this game. Like you mentioned, we've had a full week of training now, and to be honest, in my mind, those games seem quite a long time ago already now. So it's a clean slate, and we just keep on doing what we've been doing most of the season.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Next, we'll go to Damien. Calhoun. Damien, you can go.
Sorry about that.
Hi, Damien.
Sorry about that. Hey, Jonathan, just want to get your thoughts on, like you said, the rivalry with LAFC. The first time you played, it was a wild night. I think that was the day of the earthquake, I think, during the game. But what do you remember about that game? And now it sort of shifts to their place where their fans are going to be loud and wild as well.
Well, when I first signed here from day one, they were the games that I looked for first, was the LAFC game. So I've been looking forward to this one for a while, especially since the last one at home. There was only 25% capacity, and the noise was great, the energy was great, and when you're at home, you feed off your home crowd. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and we obviously got a good result, so we have positive memories from the last time we played them. So I'm kind of really looking forward to playing in that kind of atmosphere and in their stadium, and it's a nice challenge, and it's kind of one of the games I looked forward to most when I looked at the fixtures.
Thank you.
Cheers, Damien.
Next, we'll go to Kevin Baxter.
Hey, Jonathan, how are you? Thanks for your time.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
So picking up on what Damien and Josh asked you, you told us earlier that you had to depend on Sasha Question to tell you what games were big, and now you're saying that you knew that LAFC was going to be a big game when you came here. So you'd already done your research on that one. But you said that the fact that you guys have lost 2 in a row and that they're struggling a little bit, it doesn't matter. And I know you played in a lot of derby games in England. What is it about those traditional matchups where it doesn't matter if you're in last place or first place? What is it about those games that make the records and everything else irrelevant?
It's difficult to answer that, really. It's kind of just the human aspect of it comes in, and there's just a lot more emotion in the game. It's just you find that extra bit of motivation, and if you could bottle how you feel, for a rivalry game and just repeat it every week, then you wouldn't be human. You'd be a robot, and all the games would be the same. So yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just like I mentioned, it was one of the games I looked forward to the most from day one. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a human thing. It's a human nature thing.
Did you guys,
go on.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was wondering, do you guys run into each other? Do you see LAFC players around town where the bragging rights, being able to tell them, hey, we beat you guys last time?
No, I honestly haven't seen anyone. I don't know where they hang out. I don't know where their training ground is. I don't know. It's not like I'm purposely avoiding them. Maybe they're avoiding me, but I really I don't see them. So yeah, I mean, if we did, I'm sure we would have some nice back and forths, but I'm yet to see anyone.
Good luck. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Kevin.
We got time for a couple more questions. Next we'll go to Larry Morgan.
Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for taking our questions.
Hi, Larry.
I asked Greg Vanney about his striving to change the defensive mentality on this team, and he had quite a bit to say about it. Since you have a rather close-up view of the defensive side of things out there, in your mind, what are some of the key characteristics of that so-called mentality on defense? Is it commitment? Is it physical play, or what?
It's a mixture of things. It is obviously the commitment. I don't think we're lacking in commitment. I just think it's kind of defensive. It's something you get taught when you're younger. You kind of get taught how to do certain things in certain ways at certain times. So if you're, we have a lot of technical players. We have a lot of attacking players who want to get on the ball and maybe haven't been exposed to the defensive side and responsibility of things as much as some of the more experienced players. So what happens is you kind of get just small things going wrong, I think, or bad decisions being made all over the pitch, and you might not notice them during the game, but those small things all add up, and then suddenly the other team might get 6, 7, 8 chances in a game, and by matter of percentages, they're going to score 1 or 2 of those chances. So it's a mixture of things. It's obviously the determination. We need to be a bit more steely. It's also a know-how. It's, we all know how to break down a team going forward and open up the pitch and be really wide and play in pockets and get on the half turn. But then it's, on the defensive side of things, when do you delay? When do you drop off? When do you press? Are some people doing one thing and then the other half of the team think we're doing another? So it's those small things that we need to get better at and iron out. And look, at the start of the season, we definitely had a lot of there was a lot of change. There was not only change from last season, there was change within this season with the personnel and stuff. So, but like we mentioned, it's coming to the last third of the season now, and it's something that we need to. It's just an area we can improve. I don't think we're ever going to be like a team that just goes clean sheet 0-0-0-0-0, because we don't really play like that. We play on the front foot. We play attacking football, and that's what the fans will want to see. So it's just about kind of giving ourselves the best chance of winning a game by being just that little bit more, getting those small things right, and being that little bit more responsible defensively.
Thank you for your time.
Cheers, Larry.
And last question will go to Gio Garcia.
Hey, Jonathan. Just to piggyback on what these guys were saying. Greg Vanney obviously has been very vocal after last game. He's been talking about the defense, and we talked about it today. But you as one of the vocal leaders in the back line, what kind of conversations are you having with the center backs, even the midfielders, when those type of goals happen and you guys look over the film of San Jose?
Yeah, I think, kind of the way you've asked that question is as if it's the centre backs and the defence's responsibility to stop goals, and it's the attackers to score. And I've always said it's our responsibility to help the attackers score goals and build from the back and give them space. But then it's a collective thing defensively as well. So we, of course, we talk about it and we want to improve, but no one's perfect. But at the same time, we need to iron out the smaller things. It's a general thing, it's all 11 of us on the pitch, all the guys who come in. It's just doing things a bit better and more intelligently on the defensive side of things. And I'm pretty sure that's what Greg said. I think Greg said after the game, it's just everyone together, just being more of a unit and more defensive when we don't have the ball. But then we don't want to lose our attacking side of things. We're a very exciting team going forward and being open. So I wouldn't want to lose that myself either.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Jonathan.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.